this first invited talk of FSC 2015. So this talk will be given by Meltem, Sönmez, Turan, and from National Institute of Science and Technology, USA, and she will talk about challenges in lightweight crypto standardization. So I believe you all know that symmetric key lightweight crypto is currently a very hot topic for the FSC community. We have seen many new primitive introduced. We have seen many new cryptanalysis. We have seen new methods, how to build lightweight test box, how to build also diffusion layers. We have seen how to get some proofs also for lightweight encryption. And it seems that even the NIST now is getting very interested into symmetric key lightweight encryption. And actually, I think there is a workshop in end of July organized by the NIST on this topic. So please join me to welcome Meltem for this invited talk. Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas. Yeah, hi everyone. It's really great pleasure for me to be here, and I would like to thank the organizers. So today I'm going to talk about what we are doing at NIST about lightweight crypto and what are current plans in the following months and possibly years, and what kind of challenges that we have during this process. But I also want to introduce myself too. I've been doing crypto research for about 12 years now. It's mostly on symmetric crypto. And I've been a guest researcher at NIST for a little over 5 years. I joined NIST during the middle of the SHA-3 competition, and I did some work at NIST about password-based key derivation functions. We had a stream cipher project, and I'm mostly working right now on the entropy estimation for random number generators. So if you have questions about special publication 890B, we can talk about it during the breaks as well. And recently I started working on the lightweight crypto project. Okay, this is kind of the overview of what I will talk about today. First, I'll talk about our project at NIST, what we're doing on lightweight crypto, what has been done on the academic research side, and what has been done by the standardization organizations, and what are the challenges that we have at NIST. Before going into details, I really want to introduce NIST because, I mean, of course, most of you are familiar with the competitions like the SHA-3 competition, NIST AES competitions, but I also want to inform you about other things that are going on in the computer security division as well. And so NIST is a measurement science lab. It sets standards for the measurements and weights within the US. It provides reference materials for testing. We actually have like 5 Nobel Prize winners for physics and chemistry. And it is a part of Department of Commerce. It is located on the east coast of United States. It's very close to Washington, D.C. And it was previously known as National Bureau of Standards. This was during the selection of this algorithm. And it has around 2,700 employees and also 1,800 associates, like guest researchers like I am. And its mission is to develop and promote measurements, standards, and technology to enhance productivity, facilitate trade, and improve the quality of life. Okay, so this is like a general overview, structure of organization of NIST. There are like 7 laboratory programs, and ITL, Information Technology Lab, is one of them. It has around like 500 researchers, including guest researchers. And under ITL, we have 6 divisions, and Computer Security Division is one of them. And under Crypto Technology Group, which basically does all the work about crypto, is under Computer Security Division. So what do? We mainly publish documents, FIPS documents, special publication. FIPS is Federal Information Processing Standards, and SPs are the special publications. They specify the approved crypto algorithms at NIST. And NIST also publishes general guidance on the use of crypto. It covers selection, implementation, deployment, and use of cryptography. NIST we also try to publish guidelines in application-specific areas, such as personal identity verification, PIV, and also TLS. And TSC is also responsible for providing assurance that the the approved crypto algorithms are implemented properly. So as example, we have the FIPS 140 program, and also crypto module validation programs as well. So who do we work with? We work with academicians, of course. This is usually during the development of new algorithms, modes and schemes. We also work with industry. This is also important. To get some feedback on the this is a feedback mechanism on standards. And we also get work with other standard or developing organizations for adapting and developing new standards. And we also, of course, work with other government agencies, which NIST core user community is US government. And we also work with them to understand their needs and requirements. And how do we develop standards? We use different ways to develop different standards. Of course, our favorite one is the international competitions, like AES competition or the SHA-3 competition. And these competitions usually take like 4 or 5 years, but when you consider the preparation phase and the publishing phase, it even takes longer. So if you want to learn more about these, how we develop standards, we recently have a special interagency report, NIST IR, that describes these procedures. Okay, and we are also doing a lot of research projects, internal research projects. A lot of work is done on post-quantum crypto. Actually, we have a workshop coming up next month. We do some work with pairing-based crypto, privacy-enhancing crypto, secure group communications, some circuit complexity work, and lightweight crypto as well. Okay. So we recently started working on the lightweight crypto project. First, a number of people contacted us saying, and they raised their concerns about that they use some devices in their applications, and these devices cannot handle NIST-approved crypto, like AES. So after getting these concerns, we recently started to have a small group working on this project. So we currently have like 3 researchers. One of us is working more on the implementation side, and the 2 other researchers, one of them is me, working on the symmetric. We have more background on the symmetric crypto side, so we are working on this crypto primitives. And so when we talk about lightweight crypto, we think about cryptographic solutions tailored for constrained environments. So the solutions can be primitives, schemes, or protocols. But currently our focus is on the primitive side. So when we really want to emphasize that, and when we consider constrained environments, we're thinking about sensor nodes and RFID tags, devices like that. And we really want to emphasize that, let's see. Okay. We really want to emphasize that when we mean lightweight crypto, we do not mean weak crypto, and it's not meant to replace the general purpose crypto primitives. So when we start this project, we have 2 initial questions. One question was, is there truly a demand for lightweight crypto? And our second question was, is the technology mature enough to be standardized? So let's think about the demand. So we're living in a world where everything is connected, and we have all types of new smart devices that connect, that exchange information. And this really brings a lot of a big business opportunity, and we see a lot of new buzzwords, new concepts like Internet of Things, pervasive computing, ubiquitous computing. We less hear ambient intelligence, but calm computing as well. And when we look at the number of devices, constrained devices, the growth is really impressive. And in 2008, we see that more things were connected to internet than people. And now in this year, in 2015, we have around like 3 devices per person. And we expect this exponential growth to continue in the following years as well. So these devices are used in various applications like healthcare monitoring systems, automated management of supply chain, public transportation, telephone cards. So, but when we think about these different applications, like healthcare or ticketing applications, they all collect sensitive information, and this information can be your personal information, your age, your location, and even the sound of your heartbeat. And the devices, we see that these devices used in these applications are really constrained, and in terms of their memory, power supply. So, and when we look at these devices, most of them in the field, they do not even use any encryption. So, and when we see that NIST approved crypto algorithms are not suitable for these devices, so we believe that there is a demand for lightweight crypto. So let's move to our next questions. Is the technology mature enough to be standardized? So we next look at the what has been done on the academic research side. Get some water. So we see a significant amount of work has been done on the academic side. I did a quick Google Scholar search for a lightweight crypto term, and I see that there are like 1,400 papers in the last 10 years that includes this term, and this topic is getting more popular every day. And we even see a lot of dedicated workshops on the topic, like LightSec has been going on for 4 years, and RFID-Sec partly covers the crypto aspect as well. This year it's going to be the 11th year. Lightweight Crypto Day organized in Israel. Actually, it's going to be on this Thursday. And eCrypt project also organized like 4 workshops on these topics, on related topics. So what has been done? First, we see a lot of implementations on AES, both in hardware and software. We see in hardware 2,400 gate equivalent. I mean, one of the most cited implementations is from Eurocrypt 2011. That gives an implementation of 2,400 gate equivalents. More recently, we have a 2090 gate implementation by Intel last year. In software, this is an example from FSC 2010. I mean, there might be different, better implementations based on different measurements, but these are just examples. And we see that these implementations are getting better. Still, I mean, we still see improvements in 2014. So we want to emphasize that AES should be used whenever possible. So if your devices can handle AES, we really want you to not to look for another algorithm. So what else has been done apart from, of course, AES implementations? We see modifications of very well-known algorithms like DESL and DESXL. For example, in DESL, instead of using 8 different S boxes for in one round, DESL repeatedly uses the same S box, 4-bit to 6-bit to 4-bit S box 8 times, and it also discards the initial and final permutations which were not necessary for security. We also see some old interesting algorithms. They were designed before lightweight crypto became popular. It was around like 90s. They can also be suitable for these environments because of their simplicity, small block sizes, small key sizes. But the most significant work has been done in designing new dedicated algorithms. I just put some couple of examples. This is by no means a complete list, so I apologize if I'm missing your design. So Cliffia is by Sony, and we see height from Korea designers. And I also included Simon and Speck by NSA. So now I want to look at what makes these algorithms lightweight. I mean, how different they are from the general purpose algorithms. So of course they are designed to be compact and efficient, but so are the general purpose algorithms as well. So in earlier designs, we see that there was more focus on the hardware devices. Now it's switched. There's a different switch now. So we see algorithms with many iterations, and all the iterations are really simple compared to like the AES round. They are simpler. We see more simpler operations like XOR rotations instead of using seeing like 8-bit to 8-bit S box. We see smaller size S boxes to save some area. And also, instead of seeing like MDS matrices for the diffusion layer, we see more bit permutations. And we also see that for block cipher, the block sizes are smaller. Instead of using 128-bit blocks, we have now 64-bit blocks, sometimes 32-bit blocks as well. And we see smaller key sizes. Instead of 128 we see 64-bit, 80-bit key sizes. And another difference from the general purpose algorithms is the simpler key schedules. It's different. I mean, very complicated key schedules increase the latency and also requires a lot of area. So simpler key schedules really makes the algorithms more efficient. And these algorithms have really small security margin by design, and we see most of them were broken in a very short time. Apart from design principles, we also see some differences in the threat models as well. We see that there are changes in the assumed capabilities of the attackers, such as we assume that the attacker has only access to a limited number of known plaintext as ciphertext. And we see that the related key attacks are less of a concern. And we see the switch from ideal cipher model assumption to ideal permutation assumption. Well, some of these limitations, differences in the threat model, we can justify with this limitation of the devices. And you can say that, okay, this device cannot encrypt 2 to the 32 message blocks because it has a battery. It will the battery will not last that long. Or, but you know, I mean, these algorithms, when we put the standards, it will be there for a long time, and the technology might change, and it might be used in a different environments. That we have to consider this as well. And another thing that we think about, some of the constraints can be embedded to the protocol, so that the protocol level we get some protection as well. I want to give an example that we really like, Prince, and it claims a security of 126 minus n-bit security. So if the attacker has an input to the 2 to the n input-output pairs, it just shows you the trade-off between the security level that you get and the number of encryptions that you do. Clearly, this doesn't provide a security against related key attacks because decryption is equal to encryption with a related key attack. Okay, so side channel, we think side channel attacks are also important for lightweight crypto primitives as well, because you know unprotected implementations sometimes leak information about the key through, it could be power consumption, electromagnetic leaks. And this is especially important for lightweight crypto, since these attackers might have physical access to the devices, and these devices are a lot less expensive, and they are more subject to tampering now. And we see that, of course, there are countermeasures like hiding or masking, but these countermeasures cost too, and typically by a factor of 3 to 5 compared to non-protected implementations. But we also see examples of, there was recently a paper that implements present with 2,300 gates that includes the side channel resistance as well. And we also see some new designs that were designed considering the side channel resistance. So some of the examples are here in the slide. So, okay. So, after these studies, so there has been some attempts by the standardization organizations. So we checked a couple of organizations to see what has been done. So far, I think most notable work done is by ISO, International Organization of Standardization, and IEC, International Electrotechnical Commission. They published a document with number 29192. So it has like 5 parts. It includes 5 parts. The first part is just a general information, and part 2 describes 2 block ciphers, present and clefia, 64-bit and 128-bit block ciphers with different key sizes. Part 3 includes stream ciphers, Enekoro and Trivium. Enekoro is designed by Hitachi. It has a similar structure to Panama, and Trivium you're more familiar with, I believe. It's a finalist of the eStream competition. And fourth part of the document is about the asymmetric techniques. It includes identification scheme crypto GPS, authentication and key mechanisms ALIKE, and ID-based signature scheme IBS. And part 5 is not published yet, but it's going to be on hash functions. I don't know which algorithms are going to be included there. Okay, we also see another document by ISO. It's 29167. It is a standard for RFID air interfaces. It covers a number of crypto suites designed for protection information transmitted across the RFID air interface. So it has 10 parts, and it also includes present. It includes grain 128A, which includes the authentication as well. It has AES OFB, output feedback mode, and crypto suite XOR, ECDSA, ECDH, and crypto GPS and Raymond algorithms. So we also see a lot of industry-specific designs. These are usually the algorithms are kept secret in the beginning, and then like A51 used in GPS, GSM, and E0 in Bluetooth or crypto in MyFair RFID tags. We have a couple of examples, and most of them, unfortunately, were broken after reverse engineer. Okay, so eCrypt was not a standardization body. It had done a lot of work on lightweight crypto, and it also ran this stream cipher competition. So I also wanted to include this in my slide. So the eStream competition wanted to identify new stream ciphers that might be suitable for widespread adoption. And it had 2 profiles. In the call for submission, it had 2 profiles. One of them was for software applications with high throughput requirements with large key sizes, 256-bit. But profile 2 were more suitable for lightweight crypto applications, for hardware applications with restricted resources of key size 30 bits. So after the competition, so we have the 3 winners, Grain, Trivium, and Mickey. We see that Grain and Trivium were really widely analyzed, a lot of papers on them, and Grain were tweaked twice, and after the competition, the designers designed a new version, Grain 128A, which also features an authenticated mechanism. And Trivium was a very simple and elegant design, one of my favorite designs, and was not tweaked. And Grain and Trivium really offered a lot of flexibility in the implementations. We also have Mickey. I also like this design as well. But it's compared to other algorithms, it's really lightly analyzed, and we can say that its security depends on the hardness of its analysis. It's really hard to analyze the design, and it offers less implementation flexibility because it has an irregular clocking. And it makes this irregular clocking also makes it susceptible to timing and power analysis attacks as well. Okay, so in 2012, we selected Ketchuk as SHA-3. It's a permutation-based sponge function. So the submission included 7 permutations, starting with size 25, 50 up to 1600. So the SHA-3 was, the submission was designed using this full-size permutation, 1600 permutation. But the designer said that the design of these permutations are related and their security are related, so it follows a Matryoshka principle. So when you have a result on the security of one version, it also says something about the security of the smaller or bigger versions as well. So as NIST, we wanted to, one of the selection, we selected Ketchup because it also offered some additional features, like having these smaller permutation that might be used later for lightweight crypto as well. So now that's why we're also considering the use of Ketchup for these applications. An example could be like 200-bit permutation. So when we considered it like 25, 50, or 100-bit permutations, they are really for toy examples. Like you can't really do a lot of lightweight crypto on these, but for 200, 400, and 800 versions of these permutations, it's possible to come up with lightweight version that you can get some enough security strength. So an example, if you use a 200-bit permutation with capacity of 160 bits, then this leaves you a rate around 40 bits, and using 12 rounds, this gives a security strength of 80 bits. The permutation offers a lot of implementation trades-off as well. And one other advantage is if you want to have a hash function and an authenticated encryption in this, you can use the same primitive in this device. Once you have the permutation, implementation of the permutation, it's easy to get other primitives as well. And the organizers are designing doing this crunchy contest going on, and we see some practical attacks up to 2 rounds and 4 rounds, 2-round pre-image attacks, and collision rounds up to 4 rounds for considering the practical attack. So we see some work on the performance of these algorithms for lightweight constrained environments. One of them was done by the designers. They have presented a full permutation implementation on around 9,000 gates. Kavun and Yalchin implemented the 200, 400, 800, and 1600 versions with gates around 2,000 gates to 20,000 gates. Recently, we see a significant improvement of these results. So we have the full permutation, 1600 permutation around 5,000 gates. Of course, these are too much for a typical RFID tags, but we see the improvement. So here, the implementations are very low throughput, but it might be acceptable for the application that we think of. And also, if you use the 800 version, 800-bit permutation, it can be implemented around 4,000 gates, which is also 2 times faster than the full permutation. But we should note that these implementations do not include any side channel resistance, so there should be, we need to work more on this. So I want to highlight more research is needed on the lightweight uses of crypto before we start doing anything about it. Okay, so now we talk about all these new applications. They bring a lot of challenges in the and technical challenges, but also we see some serious social challenges, economic challenges, legal challenges with these all these applications. So also it brings some new challenges in the standardization as well. So the first challenge we face is to understand the gap between industry needs and the what has been done on the literature, so academic literature. So when we look at the applications, the requirements and the use cases for applications on like embedded healthcare devices are significantly different from the requirements on supply chain management. Their target devices are different, their security concern limitations are different. So that's why we started talking to people working on different applications on different labs at NIST. We talked to some people for smart manufacturing, smart grid people. But we really think there is still a gap, and we want to bridge this gap by organizing the workshop, and we are organizing other meetings as well. So we would like to, if you work on the industry side, we would like to get your feedback. And as I said in previous slides, we usually now we started to assume a different thread model for lightweight crypto compared to general purpose algorithms. Now we have less flexible algorithms, they are less misuse resistance, we have more constraint, we have assumptions on the attackers. So, as academicians, we could put these rules in our papers, but in real world, it's not that easy. So if we have an algorithm that only provides like 2 to the 32 secure, if you have like encrypt 2 to the 32 blocks, you can write it in your paper, but there has to be a mechanism to disallow the attacker to encrypt more than this amount. So this is really not easy in the field, and currently we are having a lot of problems with AES-GCM applications. We're organizing a lot of internal meetings and what we can do about it. So in AES-GCM, of course, in most of the stream ciphers and block ciphers, it's important not to use the IV twice. But in AES-GCM, there is an attack that allows you to recover the key. So this is a lot more serious. So now we're trying to, on the proper implementation side of NIST, as I said before, we're also working on that part. When people come up with their implementations, they have to show that they have to prove that they are not using the IV more than once. So of course you can come up with a counter and say that, okay, we have a counter, but we have to think about what if the counter value is lost, or if the power is lost, what happens? Do you start with the same counter from 0? So it's really hard to control the implementations in the field, and we want to go for algorithms that has less constraints, like more flexible as possible. So we also know that the development of these protocols is really important, and some of these constraints, can be enforced by the protocols, but we have to provide guidelines to the implementers that are going to use these algorithms. And as I said, there has been a lot of trade-offs in lightweight crypto designs to reduce the cost of the algorithm. And one of them was, unfortunately, using the size of the key. So we see many designs having keys of 80-bit and 64-bit keys. This is, of course, great for reducing the area, but these algorithms are going to be in the field when they're implemented for a long time, maybe 10 years, 20 years. So we really don't want to use key sizes very small. And we have a special publication, 857. It does, according to this document, it does not allow users key sizes less than 112 bits. So unless it's for legacy use. So, in the table we have two different terms, applying and processing. So 80-bit key, you can't use it for applying, but you can use it for processing, which means if you want to encrypt a message, encrypting a message is like applying, but when you have an already encrypted message, you can process 80-bit messages. So you can decrypt, decryption is okay, or like you can't sign a document, but if it's signed already, you can verify it. It's what we mean by applying and processing. So this is a really big challenge for us. We really want to consider algorithms that has at least 1/12-bit of security level, and if we want to go for shorter key sizes, we have to have a really good justification for this. And we want to hear about this from you as well. And selecting a primitive is another challenge, because now that we think about what the idea of low cost highly depends on the target technology. And it's really important. We have this famous trade-off figure that you can see in pretty much all lightweight crypto talks. And it's really important to find the right key size, right rounds, and right architecture. And the right trade-off depends on your target application. So if you have so this depends on the target applications, and some of the algorithms were optimized for hardware applications, some for software applications, and we also see recently more algorithms that are optimized for both. Here in this slide, I really want to show you an example from the eCrypt second round report of the lightweight crypto status report. So this compares the lightweight crypto algorithms that are available in 2012, and they use the small microcontrollers. Their implementations were done in small microcontrollers, and this figure shows a compound matrix, which is code size times cycle count divided by the block size. Here you can see that, the smaller value it is better. And as you see, when you compare to other block size like height, idea, presence, Catan, and AES performs the best compared to all of these. So I just want to put these slides to show you that, it really depends on where you're implementing, and of course we know that, that there's a change in the trend in design of the lightweight crypto algorithms. We see more software-oriented designs as well. Now this figure will be a lot different when we consider other algorithms as well. So it's hard to come up with one algorithm that fits all your target applications. Okay, so we understand there's a demand for crypto algorithms that are suitable for constrained devices, and we want to have an ideally one, but probably two or more algorithms that for our stakeholders to use. And but when we look at the academic research sites, we see that it's still very active, and we still see a lot of new algorithms. They're broken, and they have small security margins, and we do not have a lot of mature algorithms right now. And at the same time, we don't want to wait too long to have a lot of mature algorithms, because now as I showed you, the increase in the number of devices, so these devices are going to be around us, and we're going to be using them without encryption, and we really don't want that happening as well too. And first, I would like to tell that we're not planning for a competition. And of course, we're not at NIST ourselves. We're not going to design these new algorithms. There are nice options out there. So two possibilities we have. One of them can be the adoption of the existing standards from ISO or other standards organizations that can announce an algorithm in the during our process. Another option, which we also like, is an open, ongoing call for proposal, just like the modes of operation. So we put an open call for lightweight crypto algorithms. You submit your algorithm, and then we put your algorithm online. We wait for a period of time. We receive some comments, and depending on the target applications, we might, depending on the feedback that we get from the industry, we can just prepare a special publication on these and put it online. But if it's not suitable for all applications, you could submit another algorithm, and then it can be added to the portfolio. So that's what we're thinking about right now. And this is our tentative schedule. So we had like 3 phases. Now we're trying to identify and evaluate the need, and we're looking at the latest developments, what's going on. I told you we recently started working on this project, so we're announcing our intent now. And we're going to, in the phase 2, we're going to have this workshop this summer, and we're going to hopefully get a lot of feedback from the industry side as well, and we're going to consider the requirements and the solutions. And hopefully early 2016, we're going to have a better idea of what we're going to do. Either adopt previous existing standards or open ongoing invitation. It could be. So we're going to define our plan, and then we're going to have the special publications if they're applicable, and then try to maintain these algorithms. So before I stop, I would like to let you know that we're organizing this workshop, Lightweight Crypto Workshop at NIST, July 20 and 21st this summer. So our submission deadline is very soon, April 1st. And these are the topics from the call for papers. I think tomorrow I'm going to leave some call for papers, printouts in the lobby as well, reception. And I think that's all. Thank you very much for your interest.
Thank you very much. We have time for questions. Any question? Yeah. We have no mic, or perhaps would you mind coming down to ask a question? Otherwise, we won't hear it.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay. So, given that NIST and the NSA have collaborated together to sabotage crypto standards, as we know from the Bull Run program, where they have billions of dollars to do this, we know about the Julie C. backdoor, and I'm a journalist working on exactly documenting those crimes. Why should we trust anything that NIST ever does? And how can we know you work for the information assurance side and not the operational side that breaks crypto of international standards?
Okay, I'm not even a U.S. citizen. I have to clear that. So, yeah, I mean, this is.
But isn't it the case that maybe it's actually just an unreasonable thing? And what's the difference between weak crypto, in this case, and a backdoor anyway?
So we really don't want to use 8-bit crypto as, I mean, I included, so this slide was currently the smallest we could go, this is what we want, 112-bit. So 8-bit, when we look at the algorithm, I mean, we should have a really good justifications. It should be supported by the community and industry as well. Like if the industry says that we only want security for half an hour, and we can't handle 112 bits, maybe we can go for this, but we have to write this write guidelines how to use this algorithm, and it's really a challenge for us. And for the other questions, no, you don't have to trust this. I mean, we're going to do this as open as possible, but yeah.
For the actual backdoor of Julie C. ERPG, there hasn't really been fantastic, a microphone.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, my concern is not whether or not I can trust you, but whether or not you're part of a trustworthy process. Like, I'm sure you're a perfectly fine individual, and since you're not a U.S. citizen, we know you're probably not read into the program for sabotaging the crypto. Yeah. So the worst part is that you're in a position where they use that good nature that you have in order for them to benefit. And so the question is, how do we have transparency for previous times they inserted a backdoor, which we know is happening, and ensure we're not participating in a practice where a new backdoor is being slipped through. Because to me, when I look at 112-bit crypto until 2030, I don't think that passes the giggle test, and I'm not even a mathematician.
Okay, I mean, so this is really a challenge for us. I mean, if you want a crypto that could fit like 2,000 gates in an RFID tag, and you're using 128-bit key or 256-bit key, you know, to store each bit, you need around 6 gate equivalents. And when you do the math, doesn't really fit as well. I mean, there's something, I mean, there's not much we can do. And I don't know if this answers your question.
Another question?
Yeah, that was Sarge.
One question.
Sarge was asking.
No more questions?
Again, in the same line of the question before. So imagine NSA will submit.
Yeah. Yeah, so NSA has two designs, Simon and Spec, and they are valid designs, and they will receive some, so they will be treated like any other submission if they submit their algorithms. But we're not going to favor them in any way, and and maybe you
should do the opposite.
Yeah, maybe we should do the opposite. I mean, this Snowden revelation was a surprise to NIST as well. I can tell you that, at least for some of us. And because of these Snowden revelations, there has been a lot of work. There has been a lot of work inside NIST. So where we went wrong and what can we do not to repeat the same mistakes that we have done. That's why we have these. That's why I wanted to mention. Where is it? Yeah, mention this document, NIST IR 7977. So it just gives you a summary of how standards and guidelines development process is happening right now. And so we have a lot of reports, all these emails, emails between NSA and NIST, they're available online. You can see, check, and decide for yourself.
We have time for more questions? Yeah.
Hi Meltem, thank you for a very interesting presentation. I have to say that I actually share the concerns of Jacob a bit, that Simon and Spec, which you just mentioned, are defined for very short key sizes as well. And you say, well, 80 bits of security, that's something we definitely don't want to recommend. But at the same time, you say, well, maybe you only need security for half an hour. Yeah. Is this realistic? Because you also need to take time, memory, data trade-offs into account. And an attacker can do a very large pre-computation and then break this key very quickly.
Yeah, that's correct.
That was my question.
Yeah. So that's why we wanted to bridge the gap. I mean, what we really want to understand what the industry wants is if they really want an algorithm that will keep them safe for half an hour. I mean, we really want to address their concerns as well, but personally, I mean, as a group, we really don't want to go block sizes of 32 or key sizes of 32 in a standard, and we're not going to have any control of how they're going to be used in the future. And these standards, when you put it on the standard, it stays forever. You can still see the implementations of the SMD5 in the field, so we really don't want to do that, but we also want to understand what the industry side wants as well. I mean, I understand your concern. If you have a 32-bit block, I mean, you can't expect too much. That's what we don't want to do either. Yeah? Does this answer a little bit?
Do we have more questions?
About the standard, my FIPS 1 and 43. It started re-edited 2005, and it is stopped. What do you have any comment on this stand?
I'm now working on the FIPS 140 document, and everybody tells me, if somebody asks you about work, you can say you don't work. I really don't know much about it, and we get some feedback about it, but unfortunately, I'm not the right person to answer.
Is it stopped?
No, it did not stop. They're working on this. I mean, there are some projects that's going on forever. I mean, one of the projects that I work on, 90B, that's been going on for, I think, 10 years now. And
Yeah.
we're hopefully going to publish a new version soon for some definition of
Soon.
good. So but, you know, sometimes there are some challenges that we can't address immediately, and we don't want to rush. So sometimes it takes a very long time. But I don't have a lot of information about 140, FIPS 140.
Okay, thank you.
Segments.
My question is not directly connected to lightweight crypto, but I want to ask you a question as a member of NIST. What role does NIST gives to stream ciphers? I mean, IS competition was like block cipher competition. For example, why NIST hasn't an idea to standardize stream ciphers?
So, you know, eCrypt already organized a stream cipher competition, and it took like 4 years, and it ended. So yeah, the question was why NIST isn't working on stream ciphers. Why don't we have a stream cipher competition? So actually, we got these questions a couple of times, and NIST asked me to work on these stream ciphers. And of course, there's already a great eStream competition that has already been done. It has these outputs, and so it has the for high throughput, it has four finalists for software, and we see what they offer a lot of high throughput. But when you compare to AES with these AES instructions, they are really comparable to the benefit of the stream cipher is not really that much on the software side. And for the hardware implementations, we have the 3 algorithms, but now we're considering them as well in this lightweight crypto project as well, especially Grain and Trivium. We're really interested in these algorithms and to see if they are suitable for these applications. But we're not planning to run another competition. We don't on stream ciphers. We really don't see any benefit of this at the moment. But I mean, we could potentially have a competition on lightweight crypto more general, but not on stream ciphers, no.
So it means that Raindale covers the majority of fields where encryption is needed.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't want to have a lot of standards for encryption. It's one encryption. I mean, as long as it's secure, as long as there's a trust for the algorithm, I don't think we need a lot more. I mean, AES is generally, it doesn't give a bottleneck in most of the application in terms of performance. So there's we don't see a significant reason to go for another algorithm for AES.
Thank you.
More questions? Okay, no more questions. I just have one question, a little bit actually. I was wondering if Simon and Spec actually in the end managed to be part of the standards without even considering the fact that there might or there might not be a backdoor or any kind of plan for NSA to do anything. But wouldn't this undermine the quality of the standard in the sense that perhaps people will use it a bit less because they will be really afraid of what might be in it, even though it might be completely fine.
Yeah.
But then there's a risk that it actually undermines a bit the work of NIST by considering standardizing Simon and Spec.
We have the same concerns as well. I mean, if I don't know why NSA published an algorithm, why they put it online, and what was their intention. I really don't know. And so, as I told you, I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm doing this because I really like crypto, and so I don't want my name to be associated with, and none of us. I mean, as NIST, we are really concerned about these algorithms. We want to. I mean, if it is supported by the academic community, if you believe that it is really secure, then we might consider it. But we're not favoring Simon or Spec at this moment. It's just any algorithm.
But actually, I was wondering, might you defer it, considering deferring it?
Actually, I mean, we can do that, but we decided not to at the moment because they're not. We see some benefits in the algorithms as well. I mean, as a researcher point of view, I mean, they provide nice trade-offs, and when you look at the numbers, they provide good implementation. I mean, we don't need to throw away these algorithms, but we don't have to. I mean, it doesn't mean that we have to put it in the standards. But let's look at them, let's analyze them, let's maybe come up with another algorithm that uses similar ideas. And if there is a backdoor, let's find it. I don't know. Okay. But we are sharing the same concerns as you.
Okay, so let's thank the invited speaker again.